Good morning and welcome to Rising. We've got a great show for you today as we say goodbye 2025 and hello 2026.
Time flies when you're having fun, Robby, does it not?
It does not, and we are having fun. You know, it's been a great year overall for me and for Rising, and a lot of happy memories, a lot of good things to look back on. Moved into these new digs. I think that happened last year. I'm starting to lose track of time. I've been doing this show for 5 years.
So long. Feels like an eternity, Robby.
It feels like an eternity, but I'm happy to spend eternity with you,
likewise, it's all,
and with Lindsay and with all our fine staff here.
It has all been a pleasure. So we've had a good time.
Yes.
Meanwhile, Time Magazine has named the architects of artificial intelligence collectively as its Person of the Year for 2025. Sam Jacobs, Times editor-in-chief, writes, Person of the Year is a powerful way to focus the world's attention on the people that shape our lives. And this year, no one had a greater impact than the individuals who imagined, designed, and built AI. For these reasons, we recognize a force that has dominated the year's headlines for better or for worse.
Now, one of the two covers that Time commissioned for the issue featured 8 AI leaders sitting on the famous 1932 photograph, lunch atop a skyscraper. AI leaders include Mark Zuckerberg of Meta, Elon Musk of X, Jensen Huang of NVIDIA, Sam Altman of OpenAI, Lisa Su of Advanced Micro Devices, Demis Haspis of Google DeepMind Technologies, Dario Amodei, sorry if I'm mispronouncing some of these, of Anthropic, and Fei Li of Stanford's Human-Centered AI Institute.
AI has grown rapidly as an industry in the past year, and the tone was set in January's inauguration of President Trump.
Many tech titans visited Washington in 2025. Some even sat behind the president during his inaugural address, signaling the power that they wield.
While Americans are increasingly using artificial intelligence in their daily lives, a recent Pew Research poll showed that about half of the respondents say that AI is more likely to erode than improve people's ability to think creatively and form meaningful relationships.
Person of the Year is one of Time's most recognizable franchises. Past winners include then-President-elect Donald Trump, pop star Taylor Swift, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, and Tesla Chief Executive Elon Musk. I love a good Time Person of the Year gimmick.
I know it's a favorite of yours.
Oh, I do. Remember
title.
When you won and I won
yes,
and you won.
We all won.
I love that gimmick.
Many years ago now.
Yes, many years ago now, when it was the reflective cover.
That's right.
I'm a sucker for a good gimmick. So this isn't gimmicky enough.
Okay.
Because it would have been fun if they named the AI itself the Person of the Year, like ChatGPT or Grok or something.
Okay, yeah.
And then we got, but it's not a person.
And then we have a whole debate about that.
That whole debate. So we're not having that debate because it's the Sam Altman and Elon and Zuckerberg and all those people.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I agree they're a perfectly worthy choice. This was the year that AI went from a kind of discussed concept in the future to something we're living with and finding new uses for, and the technology is only going to accelerate from here. So I think the choice is solid. I don't argue with it.
Yeah, there's no question at all that AI is perhaps the biggest story, certainly one of the biggest stories in the world, and I think is going to continue to be that. I don't really think the political world, which is our sort of bread and butter, has really grappled completely with the implications of it all. I think there's going to be a lot more debates about regulation, about how you deal with potential job losses from AI and all of that. As far as the Time cover is concerned, I didn't particularly love that. I know it's a play on AI in a way, but putting those guys, and one woman, I think, on the famous photo, just because the original photo, of course, is very famous and a sort of a homage of a kind to the working man. And now we have all these sort of oligarchs, as Bernie Sanders would say, atop it, and I don't really love that part of it.
People, according to that poll we showed, are very wary of AI. I'm an AI enthusiast. I'm always trying to...
You're a technology enthusiast, generally speaking, though.
Well, I just think that whenever you have this view that the technology is bad or harmful, they've always had those, every time. something new comes along. They've said, I repeat myself, but they said it about television. They said it about video games. They said it about the radio. Always the people bought into the, and then especially from a media perspective, you have people who, you have media institutions that make their money off the current thing or warning about how bad the next thing is going to be. There's so much, newspapers cast so much suspicion onto radio when radio was the disruptive technology vis-a-vis newspapers. And so I read a lot of, for instance, the New York Times tech coverage. I often find to be very fear-mongering-y. It was or that way about social media, because social media is evading the kind of gatekeeping that large media institutions were able to do previously. So it's a self-interested skepticism that they're foisting on you that you have to be aware of. That doesn't mean there will be no downsides or no challenges because of AI. Yes, it's going to transform the job market. Yes, I talked in a radar recently about Bernie wants to put a moratorium on data centers. I think that's a terrible idea, but if data centers are negatively impacting a community that they're present in, well, then we have to find way. I don't want the people to have to pay higher energy or higher water prices because there's a data center. We got to make the tech company do that. We got to make Sam Altman and Elon Musk do that, so it's not harming you. But the technology itself is more likely than not going to improve your life in ways that you can't even comprehend.
So I agree that there is sometimes too much of a tendency to have a knee-jerk resistance to technological change. And also whether we think it has downsides and they outweigh the upsides or not, it is to some extent an unstoppable force. I mean, you mentioned the media industry. I am old enough to remember a time when people in the print industry were disparaging of the internet, full stop. It's a passing fad. It's not going to amount to anything. And that didn't work out so well for them. And it's also just unarguable, for example, that in the news business, the business of the written word, the digital world allows news to be delivered instantly to people wherever they are. The process of creating a newspaper is a laborious and time-consuming way to do it, and is therefore an inferior delivery system. That being said, there are obviously genuine downsides to almost all technological developments. I mean, I think it is almost unarguable that the rise of social media has coincided with a reduction in attention span kind of capacities. That's certainly my impression from just my own life, my own experience, and looking at people of a younger generation as well, including my daughter, who never listens to an album all the way through, listens to like maybe the first minute of a song, and if she really loves it, she'll listen to the whole song. But the art of the album is lost, I think. But that's a different lament to have.
Yeah, ways it's impacting, our attention spans, our entertainment. Too many television shows now, they just expect that people aren't actually watching it. They've got it on.
Second screen, so to speak.
Right,
Yeah.
so they're like all constantly telling you what's going on to remind you in case you weren't paying attention, and that annoys me. I think we can be a little bit more demanding of people that they pay attention to what's going on.
We don't want the bigotry of low expectations, as George Bush used to say.
Correct.
In a different context. Up next, we'll take a look at which states are set to raise their minimum wage in the new year. Stay with us.